Hey, welcome back to the Food Forest Gardens. We're going to go on a little bit of a tour, walk around. We'll start this tour the same way that I start most of my lunches, with a little snack. So here's a bed of kale and orach and tomatoes, and we are going to make a kale orach sorrel taquito. All right, the sorrel patch back in here. This stuff is so good. Lemony zest, so nice. And for a little extra spice, some garlic mustard, or mustard greens, not garlic mustard. Actually, let's go get some garlic mustard. Also grab some spinach here, and maybe some sweet potato greens. For people who don't know, you can actually eat the greens off of sweet potatoes. Also steal a little bit of these beet greens, and we'll pop in here for some good King Henry as well. So if you do this, you're going to want to know what stuff you can eat raw. I like to eat stuff without washing it, to be honest, and it's because the plants actually have tons of beneficial bacteria all over them. You do want to look out for any kind of bird manure or anything like that, but I actually like just picking things out of my garden fresh and using it as an inoculant for my gut microflora. And this is a super healthy little kale taquito, very high nutrients and actually extremely high protein in this one. Everything in here is a very high source of protein green. So what I had been doing is taking some of these asparagus spears and wrapping them in this little taquito. That's kind of why I got the idea of calling these taquitos. But right now we're gonna let these go to flower out and fern out and collect this photosynthesis they need in order to regenerate the patch next year. Oh, and if anyone is wondering, this ground cover that I let exist is, in general, if you can have a ground cover growing, it's good. So this ground cover here is actually coltsfoot. So this is a very, very healthy plant. I can eat this raw as well, but it does have a little bit of oxalates in it. So I don't want to eat too many raw. And then we've got nitrogen fixing vetch in here. We've got some creeping Charlie, which is in the mint family and is good for bees as well. So there's lots of stuff in here. I let this grow because it protects the soil. It'll actually create root exudates for the asparagus and regrow the soil. You can see there's a little asparagus buddy popping up right through there. So the asparagus will grow right up through that ground cover of coltsfoot, and I can use that in teas and other things. Plus it's just a source of biomass and solar energy input into the soil to rebuild the soil. Hello, Mrs. Robin. How are you doing this morning? Okay, so let's start our lunch tour with a snack. The sorrel just adds so much flavor. It's actually really good. And the asparagus, when you pick it fresh and eat it raw, it adds a lot of juiciness and crunch to my little lunchtime snack taquito. So let's go and we'll walk around, see what's going on in the food forest, and we'll just chat. So the pond is doing very, very nicely. I'll try not to talk too much in this video. I think a lot of people just really want to get the feel of what permaculture feels like on your property. And sometimes, walking around giving lectures and talking about plants, that's useful, but sometimes it's just really nice to see winding pathways through landscaping of food that's just done in a way to promote nature. You can see, I used to come out here, and if I had a report that I could print out at work, I could sit on this little bench and read it. It's a little bit overgrown with all the plants that I've planted, hostas behind it. Those were really yummy in the summertime, or in the early spring. You can eat the shoots of hostas. We always have these box elder trees popping up everywhere. They really reseed well. They're a somewhat useful tree. I'll let them grow for a little while in a spot that that is okay with them. I don't, mind it growing. But in general, I'll pull the box elders out and I'll try to get something else growing. The peaches are starting to swell. Another couple months from peaches. I'm sure some of you down south probably already eating your peaches. Peach leaf growth really bad this year. That's just what it is. Look at this area though. This used to be lawn 2 years ago. Even well into my permaculture journey of landscaping, this section, this was all lawn. And now it is all native plants, flowers for bees, and it is just absolutely thriving. I don't know if I hear bees everywhere. Got one checking out the comfrey here. It's just really cool how you can come out here any time of day and nature's just working away, getting pollen. This is the way to do it. Flowers everywhere. Right now it's comfrey. Earlier it was haskellapes and cherries and apples. But we've really focused on native bees, and you can see that they're responding so well. I just love supporting the local ecology. And as I walk around the forest, it's really interesting, but I don't really get bothered. I'm surrounded by insect noise. I can hear them all around me, but they're not bugging me. Once you kind of achieve balance, then you have the predators eating the pests. And yeah, you'll get the odd mosquito bite, but for the most part, you've got wasps eating those things. We actually create wasp habitat, believe it or not. In our food forest, we'll lay down little tubes of things, corrugated cardboard, we'll leave that out. Let's hop through here. This is where the dogs walk. And we'll pop back into the back side of the food forest. Maybe we'll head down to the Pawpaws. I can just walk around this land in so many ways now, seeing all these plants that I planted. And it's really fun when the canopy starts closing in and I gotta duck under things, and you've got these giant swales built out, and it just starts closing into these corridors and pathways. I really like the winding aesthetic. This is an area that I kind of don't like because I'm forced on contour to build this swale. It's too linear, in terms of the aesthetics. I really like winding, twisting pathways where you can't see ahead of you. You don't know where's that turn. Is it going this way or that way? And you kind of find it as you walk through the land. I really do like that style a little better. We'll hop down here in the lower pathways. You see all these moths. Down in this lower swale, we'll check on this apple. I did see apples on it earlier, but I was a little suspicious that it would drop some. So we do have some. It is putting on a small crop, so that's kind of nice. It's right in the shade of this sumac coppice. Sumac is such a wonderful tree for wildlife that I do let some sumac grow around here. This is not tree of heaven. It is staghorn sumac. We can make lemonade with it in the fall time. You can see we've got pawpaws growing up in the understory of the sumac. So the sumac is nursing these pawpaws to health. We come out of that swale right at the pond. got all this ostrich fern that we've propagated out. We've got serviceberry growing in there, hopefully starting to grow. I've purposely left the water hyacinth in here because I want it decomposing in the pond to make some carbon dioxide in the pond, some carbonic acid, and then lowering the pH. The pH is a little bit high from all the limestone. We've got a lot of calcium carbonate going into the pond as the limestone slowly erodes. So part of a natural, healthy ecosystem, you know, carbon is not bad. It's part of the natural cycle of life on Earth. Too much is very bad, and when humans burn hundreds and thousands of times as much as historically is natural, then yes, it can be terrible. But a little bit is good, and in the right spaces, you know, a little bit of carbon in the water of the pond can create carbonic acid and alter the pH. We've got daisies supporting various insects. Got monarch butterfly there, enjoying the creeping thyme. Just everywhere I go, there's this cacophony of life. So wonderful. I really do now live inside of a forest. You know, I always used to call my food forest a food forest because that's what permaculturists call it. But it was just a bunch of small little trees. And not so much of a forest, but it is really starting to take on the forest identity. I wanted to check on the asparagus down here. And I do see a lot of like cranberry growing really well. So that's nice. We've got cherries growing really well. The asparagus is kind of fallen behind, but we do have daisies and other things that we've thrown down in here doing well. So this whole area, the idea with this was more of a Sepp Holzer approach. And for those unfamiliar with Sepp Holzer, is a famous permaculturist who really uses nature as a designer, where they'll overseed an area and plant more than could possibly grow in that area, and then kind of let nature sort it out. So the plants, like the milkweeds here that support the monarch butterfly, the plants that want to grow in this area and do well, like the cherries that can get up over top of the raspberries, you know, they'll sort it out and they'll figure out their own way. And nature will kind of help design your system for you. So here's the pawpaw tree. You can see just another week of growth on literally hundreds and hundreds of pawpaws up in there. And the pawpaw leaves are just starting to come out. They're one of the, you know, the slowest leaves to pop out. So they're just starting to come out. This tree looks just so beautiful and tropical in the midsummer. A great choice if you're in a cold climate and you want a really tropical looking tree that puts on giant tropical fruit. Should probably thin some of these clusters out. There's just no way that this thing is going to be able to make that many pawpaws. So I'll thin some of those out. Just loaded with pawpaws. The tree will naturally drop a lot of this. I might use this year as a year to determine if I should be the one thinning the pawpaws or if the tree will do it itself. I do like to leave that decision up to nature anytime I can. Just a true and veritable forest down in here. You see that beautiful dragonfly. Just absolutely stunning. And just insect life everywhere. Look at the color on that. Just absolutely stunning. Alright, we're gonna pop back up. So many dragonflies. It is just absolutely
Beautiful down here. Okay, let's pop back up to the pond. We'll walk up this hill. Hey, I found a friend. Come on, sweet girl. Up we go. Here's Wildflower Hill. I guess I'll stop here. Stop here and show Wildflower Hill. Lots of goldenrod. Goldenrod's really colonized this hill, almost to a monoculture status where, you know, we've got other things growing on it here. Oregano and sea buckthorn, or serviceberry, sorry. Queen Anne's lace. We've got some sumac popping up, various clovers. We've seen the daisies, and we've got yarrow in here as well. So lots of things in here when you look close. Little field Shasta daisies in there. So lots of stuff actually happening in here when you look close, but from far it does look like a lot of goldenrod. We've got that beautiful elderberry at the edge, just collecting some of the splashing water and just thriving there in an understory of ostrich fern, which is fiddleheads. Great healthy forage in the spring. So this is the back stream of my pond design. The water will flow over the edge here into this underground reservoir. That's actually a giant underground tank, believe it or not. And my pumps are hidden in behind that rock. And that'll pump back up to the top waterfall. So as natural as this looks, this is actually completely man-made. But it's designed to look like nature. We'll just hop right in and walk in the water stream here, and we'll show you what I mean. It is just designed to wind just the way that a normal creek would have winded its way through here. And it's actually so dense in here, my camera is gonna bang around everything as I knock into things. And up in here we've got wonderful English lavender. Such a healthy medicinal plant. We've got grapes growing and trailing and falling all down the rock ledge, which you can't even see anymore. When we finished the design on this whole area was just bare dirt and giant rocks and very cold looking. And you can see now you can't even see the rock. It's just plants everywhere. We actually do have horsetail here, which has volunteered its way. I haven't seen it spread, so I'm not too concerned yet. But I'm not a huge fan of seeing that. And we got friends that are enjoying, very much enjoying what we've built here for them. This is always really nice to see. We created little habitats like this. There's a little cove here that I built, and there's almost always a little froggo hanging out under there. Nope, not right now. So lots of love given to all the little choices and designs in this pond. I have to be really careful I don't step on any of my friends here. And here's the edge of the pond. This is the main outflow of the pond that you sometimes see. I have a little board to go across there. I was thinning the peach tree. And we've got some wild ginger in here. Oh, let me get up. We've got some roses, which was maybe not the best spot for them. And we've got this beautiful sea buckthorn, the world's healthiest berry, and you can make tea out of the leaves. And we've kind of pulled some of the branches down because I wanted to create shelter ledges for fish underneath, so they can browse any kind of insect larva that wants to, you know, make eggs in the shallow areas of the pond. And we want some cover from kingfishers and cranes and such. So the fish are loving their life in here. You can see all the tadpoles over there. And then here is just a wonderful kind of mini guild of sea buckthorn. Again, world's healthiest berry, and it is putting on a crop. Make sure I don't fall in the pond. So it's putting on a ton of berries this year. This is what they look like around now. So these are going to be loaded up. We're going to have some red star peaches there, you can see growing. And I would say overall, this is a really resistant peach leaf curl peach. So if you're looking for something resistant to peach leaf curl, try red star and try frost. They've been doing really well. Let's go take a look at some of these tadpoles. And you can see the fish are kind of eating them. Look at them all down there. Do you see them all? Look on this rock here. I hope that's focused. I can't always tell if you can see this kind of stuff. But my pond is full of life this year. And tadpoles are a great indicator of overall pond water health. Because frogs and tadpoles are like the canary in the coal mine. They're very fragile and sensitive. And if you have healthy water, you'll know you have healthy water if you have a really great population of frogs and tadpoles. Look at this, it's like a little city. Isn't that adorable? I want a lot of life in the pond because, again, I want the CO2 load in the pond to increase. And, you know, all life respires. So just absolutely loaded with tadpoles this year. Really, really encouraging and nice to see. Plus, you know, free fish food. And here's the pathway up to the house. We got the doggos coming down. These doggos are just enjoying the best life they could ever hope for. We've got kiwi growing up the side of the house and a bunch of hascaps along that area. A sand cherry, mostly for ornamental reasons. We've got onions growing in and underneath of it. We've got peaches hanging out behind there, sea buckthorn, a row of pawpaws at the top. So this waterfall is going to be just absolutely stunning in the future when some of these trees get up, and shade a nice canopy over that waterfall. I can already see it in my mind's eye. Here we've got some rugosa roses that are dropping all their petals. I should probably collect some of these. They probably smell really nice. Tell me what in the comments, what do you do with a bunch of rose petals? What would you do with all of this bounty of beautiful rose petals? Make some kind of fragrance jars, mix it with beeswax, something like that? Let me know. We do eat the rose hips when they come, and you can see them. They'll turn red sometime around August, so we'll definitely eat those. Make them into jams and such. Tell me what you do with all these petals. Just leave them for nature? I don't know. And I think we'll end here probably. It's a good spot. I can't show the whole property all the time. The videos just end up being 45 minutes. I don't know if I showed this, all the mulberries. Did I show that on the last video? I don't remember. But this is just loaded with mulberries. Really excited that we're getting a nice mulberry crop. This is the native mulberry here. There's you know, red, white, black mulberries. So I believe it's, I can't remember if it's the white that's native here, but when I bought it, I made sure to select the native one because I had a choice, so you might as well make the choice of going with the native variety. And maybe we'll end this off, say hi to the chickens. See, are they out? Nope. What are they up to? Hello. What are you doing in there? It's a beautiful day. So right now, they're fairly new, so we've just kept them in the run. There's only 2 of them in there now. We're getting another 2 in a couple weeks, so we'll have 4. And then I'll add 2 every year, and that'll kind of keep us roughly around 10 in laying age. And what I do with them, I'll just kind of step back. You can kind of see with the fence and everything in my chair. I like to sit in here with them. They play on all these sticks and jump up, and just our chickens. And raspberries on the ground, grapes up there, kiwi, lots of kiwi fruit up here this year. You can see all that kiwi fruit. So this will all kind of tumble and fall and be really fun browse for them. So we try to give them a good life. Sometimes people will say, oh, it's such a small little chicken run. But we do let them out into a much larger area. They can get underneath all these trees and peck at different healthy plants. They can get underneath this whole block here and really get into here, enjoy all their completely sheltered and safe. And that's a decent chicken run. I would like to make it bigger. We might over the years. For now, we do have to watch out. Harry there is a very wonderful, kind dog, but he does like to scare and attack the chickens if they're out. So, and he can kind of get in through that. He'll like literally just torpedo into the chicken cage and run in and try to kill them. So I'm not as worried about keeping them safe from other predators as I am that I just don't trust my dogs. I trust my Aussie Shepherds. They're super smart. They listen. You know, I trust them as much as you can trust a dog. This old boy, he's kind of set in his ways. He'll do what he wants, and can't teach an old dog new tricks. Great dog, wonderful dog. Eats my strawberries, but that's nice actually when I go outside and I see him in the strawberry patch just nibbling away all the strawberries. I always try to catch him so I can put him on video, but he always gets the strawberries when I don't have my camera. But I don't trust him with the chickens. I would trust her even though she's only a year old. She's very, very intelligent. Oh, and I guess I should, did I show this yet? I can't remember. I should show you. This is the current plan for the raised beds. So overwhelming support for this option here, right by the house. You can walk down these steps, go out and collect food. So next step is going to be to get some of that compost and horse manure and wood debris at the bottom and build these up and then fill them. A little bit late for the year. I'd like to have done it a month ago, but so much to do. Hope you enjoyed this little walk around tour of the food forest. Hope it gives you an idea of what it can be like. I roughly walked around 1.5 acres on this walk, so you know, if you even have a 1/4 acre, 1/10 of an acre, you can do some incredible things with a property that size. You don't need to have 4 or 5 acres. I would much rather have a nice, well-designed, well-managed 1/4 acre or even 1/10 of an acre than a poorly designed and poorly managed larger property. So, see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.